Hey everyone, welcome to the reading for today. We're going to see what you guys need to know right now. It's a general collective reading, all right? You're going to know best if it's past, present, or future for you, where this resonates on your timeline. So with that being said, let's just see what is the message for today in the collective. From Spirit, from your guides, the angels, the holy angels. What's the message today? What's going on? Let's see. Oh, this is a good message. Strength. All right, look at this. Temperance is here. The Temperance angel is here, and somebody's being exposed. There's something coming to light. All right. I mean, this angel here, it feels like it's watching over you. So let's see what's being exposed here. What's being exposed? The Eight of Swords in reverse, the Page of Cups in reverse, and the Chariot in reverse. This is something about rejection or somebody being petty, emotionally immature, being a bit bratty, all right, being a bit childish, losing control, not being able to move forward, feeling blocked or stopped. Something is being exposed here, but the Eight of Swords in reverse in front of that. Being freed from some sort of imprisonment, all right? Let's see what, and again, Temperance is here. So I feel like that's important for someone to know, all right? That you're protected, that you're being watched over. Even if it feels like you're not, all right? You are. What's the Knight of Pentacles? The Sun and the Page of Pentacles. The Nine of Cups in reverse. This is a bit strange because there's good energy, right? The Eight of Swords in reverse, coming out of imprisonment, some sort of exposure happening, the Sun. But then after that, again, we have the Nine of Cups in reverse. So but why is that making me feel like not feeling good enough? Something about being a page, right? Something about you being a page, maybe just learning things, being an apprentice, a new endeavor, a new seed to be planted, all right? But then the Nine of Cups in reverse is like a feeling of unhappiness, feeling like something's not enough or it's not a wish fulfillment, feeling, empty or like something's not good enough. Why is Temperance here? The Six of Swords, moving to safety, moving on to calmer waters, leaving something behind. The Three of Cups in reverse, a spoiled party, a lack of friendship, leaving a group. The Nine of Pentacles, this is independence, abundance, having more than enough, success. It's like you're being guided here by the divine or by your angels to safety, away from people that don't serve you, towards success and abundance. I feel like right now, like in the middle here, this has something to do with you as a Because the Knight of Pentacles is someone who's, you know, methodical, planning, thinking ahead, making long-term plans, going in a certain direction. And it's like you're being guided here by the divine towards abundance, success, and money. But it's this Nine of Cups in reverse right here is making me feel like it's like this energy that is like looming around you on your pursuit to education, or on your pursuit to starting something new or creativity. But as a page, you're like just starting out. You're like a bit of a younger energy, and it's like this one with the sun being here. It's like you have this shine, you have this authenticity, you know what makes you happy. You're ready to start something new and explore, but then there's this energy here of like it's almost like not feeling good enough. Okay, let's see where this goes. What's the Seven of Swords reverse? The Seven of Cups, confusion. Some sort of confusion, or not knowing what to think, not knowing what to do. The King of Wands is confused, or the King of Wands, what is that about? Who's the King of Wands? Again, look, Temperance is at the bottom again. So heavy Sagittarius energy here. Who's this King of Wands? This has to do with somebody's family. So this is about your family, or this is a family member. Okay, something being exposed here. Hold on, I want to get one of thoughts. Yeah, because I'm kind of getting something here about like internal processes, like your thoughts, your inner, your like beliefs about yourself, or something about your soul's journey, something that you're learning about yourself, maybe even. So I want to get one of these cards here, because these are my psychological cards. Tell me more about what you're trying to show me here, please. The Seven of Cups in reverse, the Three of Swords in reverse. This has something to do with you healing your heart, overcoming betrayal, or something about healing. So maybe something that needs to be healed still, or something that you've healed in the past, or you're doing this right now. This has to do with seeing something clearly here when it comes to your healing. And it feels like a bit of not directly a blockage in the sense that this is something that blocks you in life, but it's more of something that you might carry with you subconsciously. And maybe the Seven of Swords in reverse is even, I don't know if this is about actually something or someone being exposed, or if it's like just something coming to the surface. Tell me more about that, please. Soulmates, soul connections, partnerships, agreements, soul contracts. Yeah, I feel like this has something to do with the way that you've gone into soul contracts with other people, or the way that you maybe are in relationships. Sadness, missing you in the reverse, thinking about you in the reverse, unsure of the future in the reverse. no longer being unsure of the future. And I feel like not being like being sure, in this case, being sure of the future, or coming out of that feeling of uncertainty, has something to do with the way that you feel about yourself. This feels super deep. That's why I'm like taking a second to just kind of take it in, take the energy in, because it feels like it's a bit deep here. It has something to do with not standing up for yourself, not standing your ground. Maybe this is something that you used to do in the past where you wouldn't defend yourself or you wouldn't stand up for yourself. Oh, it just hit me. This is like, yeah, the hangman, an epiphany. This is something about a feeling of wondering, or a feeling of not, it's kind of tied to the feeling of feeling like a sense of self-doubt, or like there's like you're not enough, or you're not doing enough, or you haven't done enough, or you aren't this is so hard to explain and describe right now. So it's like it's almost like so there's something here about taking accountability, which I feel like you do, but maybe you go so far in that direction that you start to blame yourself. Like if something happens and you don't defend yourself, it's almost like that internalization of, well, maybe I deserved it. Like maybe I deserved that to happen to me, which is not true. Hold on. The Knight of Cups. Giving and receiving, or just having an open heart, coming towards someone in love, being understanding, empathetic. Confirmation. It's like being understanding to your own detriment. You know, it's like getting into relationships where people how should I say this? So it's like getting into relationships with people that treat you badly or don't treat you fairly, or kind of abuse your trust in them, and it's almost like you understand why they're doing what they're doing, to the point where you start looking for the fault in yourself. So you don't stand up to them or defend yourself or put up boundaries with people, because you look for the fault in yourself, like what you did to maybe deserve that. Which you don't do anything to deserve. This feels more like conditioned behavior, if I'm being honest. It's like this is like a kind of conditioning. This isn't like you actually did something to deserve any kind of bad treatment. It's more like a conditioned behavior that you learn, right? Where you maybe struggle with like self-worth, right? Or like this feeling of not being, it's almost like it's giving me perfectionism, especially with the Page and the Knight of Pentacles being there, which is about, career or plans, ideas, visions, all right, long-term plans. It's like a feeling of perfectionism to a fault. So just to make an example, so you guys can kind of understand the energy that's coming up. It's like, let's say you have an employer and they are very harsh towards you, or they are always berating you and making you feel like you're not doing your job enough, and you know that you're doing the best that you can, or you know that you're doing more than enough, but this person is always berating you, right? And this is like that energy of being too young to understand that it's actually the person that's berating you all the time that is the problem. But when you're still in this younger energy, you start to internalize it a lot and always kind of think that, okay, so maybe I did deserve that, or maybe I am not good enough, or you know what I mean? And then the Nine of Cups, it's like then you don't defend yourself, you don't stand up for yourself and say, you know what, no, actually, I know I'm doing my job well. This is like a card of submission. So you end up submitting to the person that's overly critical of you. And you begin to internalize it instead of, it's like you see the problem within yourself instead of with the person that's treating you badly. Right? And then this Knight of Cups, this is the one that's like really killing me here in this energy, because it's like you then empathizing with the person that's always criticizing you, because you're like, or this is almost like even wanting to, it's like being conditioned to want to give more, or help more, do more, extend more, because you're looking for that kind of praise and that adoration or that approval. But this does not have to be now. This can be past energy, right? Like years ago, or because we do have the Page here, so it's making me feel like this might have been something that you went through, or this is how you used to be, or something like that, right? Okay, anything else? High Priestess in reverse, when you didn't listen to your intuition. So this might have been before your spiritual awakening, okay? At a time where you didn't listen to your intuition. And this could be especially with other people, or the way that other people treat you, right? Because your intuition might have been trying to alert you to the fact that somebody is like, let's say this is a work situation, they're just using you, they don't really appreciate you. If it's in love, then it's like the same thing, right? Not listening to your intuition, that it's not your fault the way that you're being treated, it's actually the person that you're dealing with. It's like drowning out your intuition and internalizing the way that people treat you. Okay. Yeah, the past, the Six of Cups, the past, and the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, so for someone here, this could have to do with work, right? Or working on yourself, or mastering yourself. But this definitely has to do with the past. And honestly, I feel like this isn't even something that you did consciously. It's not like you sat there and thought to yourself, wow, everything is always my fault. But maybe it was like a subconscious pattern that you moved through, right? Where you subconsciously thought, well, somehow I deserve this. Somehow I did something to deserve this. Huh. Okay. Anything else about that? This has to do with the Queen of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, and a King of Cups. This has to do with a Queen of Pentacles, a King of Cups, and poverty. All right. Or feeling left out in the cold, going through financial hardship. Okay. Why is that here? Adjudication. This has to do with a judge, with a court case, with some, and a mature man. This has to do with a mature man and a judge. All right, what does that have to do with a mature man and a judge? The past. The past, a relationship, and an Empress. This has to do with a relationship from the past, or maybe, like I said, maybe even childhood, right? Childhood, growing up, some sort of sentimental feelings from the past. When it comes to close relationships, we have an Empress. This could be you. This could also be someone that you grew up with, all right? Or a maternal energy of some sorts. Now, why is that here with the King of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles? This has to do with introspection, really. I mean, relationships reflect our wounds, self-image. This has to do with your introspection, you going within, realizing maybe how certain relationships in your life are a reflection of your wounds or wounds that you had in the past. Self-image. Chaser in reverse, no longer chasing after people, no longer having a fear of abandonment. Healing some sort of codependence. But this chaser energy, it doesn't even feel like chaser in a relationship kind of a sense. It feels more like chasing after some sort of feeling of acknowledgement, or feeling of, you know, you're doing a good job, you know, you're doing a good job. So maybe that's not something that you've run into much in your life, where people, or, you know, any kind of connection told you that, you know, you're doing a good job. This is more like the kind of person that you feel like you've been criticized all your life by anyone and everyone around you. And especially if you're very sensitive or, you know, empathetic, then you tend to internalize a lot of that criticism. But what does that have to do with a judge and a mature man? How does that play in here? The Tower. The Two of Pentacles. Something about being able to see both sides of the coin, being able to see both sides. Yeah, it kind of feels like you have spent more time in your life being able to see other people's perspective, or how how other people are feeling or why they're treating you the way that they're treating you, to the point of almost like dismissing how you're being treated, right? If that even makes sense, I hope that makes sense for what I'm saying here. The Seven of Pentacles in reverse. A failure. Man, I'm telling you, it's like a feeling of a failure. Like nothing is ever good enough. Like it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how much work you put in. It doesn't matter how much you try. It doesn't matter how you show up. It's always this feeling of nothing I do is good enough. Like it's never acknowledged. It's never appreciated. It's never good enough. Yeah. And this has to do with coming out of a nightmare, coming out of anxiety, taking action to come out of anxiety, stress, worrying. What's that towards? What do you mean coming out of stress and anxiety? Not dealing, hurt, boundaries, still angry, avoiding a conversation, call person. So cutting people off, not dealing with people anymore, cutting people out, cutting people off, putting up boundaries with certain people. Could be a way that in the past you separated yourself a bit or cut people out that made you feel a certain way about yourself, all right? So maybe that's also not how you've always been. You haven't always been someone that cuts people off or cuts people out or puts up strong boundaries. You could have been more of the kind of person where you felt the need to, prove your point or prove your side or prove yourself or want to feel seen or heard. But I feel like you got to the point where you realized it's actually more detrimental. You started cutting people off, cutting them out completely, because especially the people that make you feel like nothing you ever do is good enough. Especially the kind of people that make you feel like you're not being valued, you're not being appreciated. I feel like once you started growing into your own confidence and knowing who you are and that you do deserve to be treated well and with respect, and you do deserve to be valued and appreciated and not criticized all the time, those people you started to cut off, right? That was part of your evolution, healing the inner child. This is part of you healing your inner child, and the inner child of always being criticized, always feeling like this isn't good enough, or, why can't you be this way? You need to do this in order to receive love and affection. Why is the Five of Pentacles here? Look at this. Empath, narcissist paradigm, being charmed or used. Yeah, empath, narcissist paradigm. Exactly. The empath and the narcissist. And the paradigm being that you're very understanding and you're always trying to understand someone, and you're always trying to get someone, especially a narcissist, it's like it's a losing game, because you're always trying to get the narcissist to understand you the same way you understand them, right? So you're extending them understanding when you're saying, okay, I know where you're coming from. I understand your point. Like, let's say, again, this employer energy, right? It's like this person is constantly criticizing you at work and what you're doing, and this isn't good enough. So you're always coming from this the stance of like, okay, I understand why you're saying this, and I understand that you don't like that I did this and this wasn't enough, and I need to kind of mold myself so that I don't upset you. But, I'm just trying to say that, like, this is my point of view, and you expect to get that understanding back, but you don't receive it. So it'll end up, you're basically overextending yourself all the time and kind of expecting someone to then see that you're trying. But, you have to get to the point of maturity to realize that that person they're doing it on purpose. They're purposely not trying to acknowledge you or see you, or because they enjoy having you in this place of you doing everything for their approval, basically, and they then manipulate you into doing this more and more and more. But that takes a while to get there, to see that that's what's going on, right? And that the constant criticism isn't even something personal. It's actually just a power play that they're playing with you, right? So we have stabbed in the back here as well. Heartbreak, pain, separation, deception. Yeah, you could feel like you've been stabbed in the back a lot by a lot of narcissists, all right? All right. So, okay. So what is this here that's being exposed here when it comes to family, or something being seen clearly with family and soul connections? This has to do with a Queen of Wands and somebody coming out of a feeling of lack, a feeling of abandonment, insecurity, feeling alone, left out in the cold. A Queen of Wands. The Wheel of Fortune. What's that about? One night stand, many options, keys on a ring, unconventional string along. This is what's coming to light. This is what's being exposed. Something about having many options, one night stands, and being strung along. Sudden change, shocking news, and epiphany. Okay, an epiphany about what? No, you want, okay, one more of these, all right. Queen of Wands in reverse. So this has, again, a Queen of Wands in reverse is someone that might be insecure, might overcompensate their insecurity, might be hot-headed, jealous, a bit witchy. So we have a Queen of Wands, now we have the Queen of Wands in reverse. And the High Priestess in reverse, again, something about when you didn't listen to your intuition, it coming from a place of, so the Queen of Wands, I don't even feel like the Queen of Wands is an actual person in this reading as much as it's about your confidence or your personality, right? The way that you stand out, it's that fire, it's that drive, it's that I'm going to take action. The Queen of Wands in reverse in this reading is giving me like the Empress in the reverse, right? It's that feeling of feeling disempowered, feeling like you have the spark, but it's almost being dimmed within you. Like you can't express yourself. You can't be who you are. You feel like you can't be authentic. You feel small and, like you have to hide that fire that you have within you. And that's from a place of insecurity. But the But the Five of Pentacles is in reverse here with the Wheel of Fortune, which is like finding that inner light and that inner fire and that authenticity of who you are and beginning to love who you are. And not just that, but also, you know, a Queen of Wands in reverse doesn't really know how to put up boundaries with other people, right? A Queen of Wands in the upright does. You can put up boundaries with people because you know who you are, you know that you're a strong personality, you stand on business, you're a go getter, you go do what you say you're going to do, right? And that's here with the Wheel of Fortune. So it's about you know, going towards your higher purpose, but it's like this had to be worked through in your life first before you could change your fortune or your Wheel of Fate, your karma. Because in the time of your life where you were not listening to your intuition, or you felt disempowered, or you felt like you couldn't speak up or put up boundaries with other people, or maybe internalize a lot of things, and a lot of the criticism that you internalized ended up making you feel bad about yourself, or made you feel like something's wrong with you, or you deserved it in some sort of way, or, you know, if you would have just been this way, then maybe they would treat you better, right? It's like that comes from a place of you not listening to your intuition, or not being enlightened yet about the fact that a lot of things that happened to you were not your fault. But at the time, maybe it felt like they were, right? Like maybe even, I mean, this is not even giving me a one-night stand as much as it's giving me string along. Like maybe you allowed people to string you along for a long time, you know? And that being strung along, I feel like in this case comes a lot from you not putting up strong boundaries, or you not knowing how to speak up for yourself, or you not knowing how to really exert yourself, all right? Or maybe doing things that you felt like in your spirit and in your soul, you felt like it was wrong, or like it just didn't feel good to you to allow someone to string you along that way. But you might have done it in the past for a sense of approval, or hoping that somebody ends up telling you you're good enough, or hoping that you'll get that praise when they see how much effort you've put in. You know, it's like, I hope that if I just keep going with this, then they'll see that I'm good enough, or that, you know, I'll get that, you know, they'll tell me that that they're proud of me or something like that. You know, it's like looking for that subconsciously. And this can be with anything, right? It can be, like I said, it can be with a job where you have a boss and you're just trying to, you just do everything that they say. You never say no. You take the criticism constructively. You always try to work on yourself and better yourself. You do everything that they ask you to do. You try to do your job perfectly because you're just looking for that one time where they tell you, wow, you're doing a great job and I'm so happy to have you working for me, right? So you allow yourself to be strung along with them. They keep dangling the carrot with you because there's like in your inner child is looking for something here, right? The same thing in relationships, right? You're in a relationship, it's stagnant, it's not going anywhere, nothing's moving, you know, nothing's changing, and it's because maybe you're hoping that one day they'll wake up and realize that, you know, wow, you know, it's like waiting for that sense of approval. Like one day they'll see, you know, that I am worth something, right? Yeah. So tell me about this Page of Cups reverse. The Seven of Wands. Yeah. I feel like once you start putting up boundaries with people, they won't really understand what you're doing. So, you know, the Page of Cups in reverse is like coming off as being petty, or coming off as being like childish, or like throwing a fit. But it's actually you learning how to put up boundaries, and how to stand up for yourself, and how to say, no, I don't like how I'm being treated. Right? And when you're just learning how to put up boundaries, it maybe, you know, it can come off very like, leave me alone, or, you know, well, I don't like how you're treating me, right? But it's because you're just learning how to do this, right? Or it can come off like maybe that you're just putting up boundaries now with people because you're not getting what you want. But it's not that. In your energy, that's not why you're putting up boundaries, or why you're standing up for yourself because you're not getting what you want. That's not what it is. It's actually because for a long time you've been used to giving to people that don't appreciate it, don't respect it, use it, manipulate it, you know, most likely also recognize in you that you are looking for a sense of approval from them. And you know, it's when you end up saying no, I guess to them it's then, oh, you're not getting what you want. But no, it's actually that you start to realize who you are, what you deserve, how you deserve to be treated, that you've been saying yes for a long time to things that didn't sit right with you, just to please other people, basically. And yeah, when you then stop, like when you start realizing like, nothing that is in my life right now is actually what I want, like what I truly want. I'm just doing it. I'm just sticking around for to please other people, or so that, you know, they feel like I'm good enough. It's like when you start saying, no, this is not what I want. I'm not getting what I want. I don't feel fulfilled in this. You know, it can then come off like, oh, now you're being ungrateful, or now you're not getting what you want. But it's like you've been in that energy of not getting what you really want for a long time, and you just get to the breaking point of not being able to take it anymore. Right? The Hierophant. Why is the Hierophant here? The Lovers in reverse. A breakup or severing of contract. I mean, this could be you breaking up with an actual person, or severing a contract with an actual person, or just putting up boundaries with people that you feel like are just stringing you along. It's like, I'm not going to be strung along anymore. All right? Even that can make you, you know, maybe a bit uneasy. I don't know. Let's see. What is this? Seven of Wands here. Concern. Yeah, concern. Concern about you putting up a boundary and standing up for yourself. A false person. Yeah, I feel like this is where you are right now in your life. It's like, as soon as you get a feeling that somebody is not being honest with you, or as soon as you get a feeling that somebody is stringing you along and just kind of trying to manipulate you, you cut them off. You're like, I'm not doing this anymore. I've done this long enough. I'm not going to let people string me along anymore like this. It's like, but this is something that had to change. It had to change. You had to start putting up strong boundaries with people, especially when it's like, you know, this is what I want. This is what I expect. I'll give you time. Okay. I'm not going to, like, you know, everybody has free will here. It's not like you're putting someone under pressure, but you also know that, like I said, you deserve respect. If you're going to give respect and understanding, you deserve to have that as well. You deserve to have someone that, this can be any kind of relationship. Like I said, this can be anything. Just take it how it resonates. But it's like you deserve to feel heard, to feel understood, to feel respected, to feel valued, to feel like, like something is mutual, all right? Like you don't want your time to be wasted, and you don't want to feel like the person that you're dealing with is wasting your time on purpose. Okay? So you don't want to deal with this anymore. If you feel like someone's being a false person and is wasting your time on purpose, you're like, I'm not doing that anymore. I've wasted so much of my life waiting for people to pull through or show up for me, and they end up disappointing me. It's like, that's just part of the lesson here. So wise lovers in reverse. The runner. A fear of intimacy, but I feel like it's like a fear of commitment now, okay? So I feel like you used to be the chaser, but not in the classic sense of a runner-chaser relationship dynamic. More of this, you chasing after people all the time, asking them, this can even be like asking them for help, asking them for support, asking them for, can you look over this for me? Or, chasing after them for a job, chasing after them for adoration, chasing after you're not doing that anymore. But now you're kind of like the runner. Now you have a fear of committing yourself to people because it's like you've been let down so many times. You've been disappointed so many times. Especially when it comes to that feeling of being strung along. Right? Like, don't tell me what I want to hear, or don't just, put me off and put me off and put me off. I feel like that's a pretty sensitive thing for you now, where, as soon as you're like, oh, are you stringing me along? You're not going to hold your end of the bargain. You're not going to pull your weight. You're just, you're not valuing my time. You're not, all that, right? It's like, this doesn't feel right to me. This doesn't feel right to me. I feel like this is a waste of my time, So, what's this Knight of Pentacles? Privileged lady. Yeah, this could really have a lot to do with job, career, where you're going, your vision, all right? And this is like, this is giving me a lot of things. Like I said at the beginning, it's kind of like a lot of internalization of your own choices, right? Or, internalization of a lot of criticism, but it's also maybe where you've now, you're very focused on a sense of perfectionism to the point where you feel like it's never going to be good enough, or you're not good enough, or this isn't going to work out because it's like, I don't know what I deserve. Like, that's really hard to get to, that feeling of, I know what I deserve, because sometimes, especially if you've in the past, like growing up, always felt like you deserved bad treatment, or you deserved, punishment, then good things happen or good things come and you don't know if you deserve it. That's really sad to say, but that's what I'm feeling. It's like, I don't know if I can really go after this or make this happen because I don't really know if I am like cut out for it, or I don't really know if I can really do this because, I don't know if I'm gonna be good enough. Kind of could get in the way a lot of the times, right? So, especially like always, you could be a bit programmed to always kind of think of like, okay, so where is it my fault this time? Like, what did I do wrong? Where is it my fault that this is happening to me? It has to be my fault somehow. Okay. Breakup, separation, stop the pattern. Yeah, that's a pattern that you have to stop, I feel. And I feel like it's hard, okay? Introspection. This could be a pattern that's hard for you to stop because I feel like it's very conditioned into your psyche, right? But that's like the whole point I want to say of working on your self-worth, because you start to realize that it isn't always your fault. Like it isn't. It is other people. Sometimes it is just, it's other people, right? But again, this is like when you've been conditioned for a long time or through multiple people to think that when people treat you badly, it's like, well, it's because you did this, or it's because you're not doing this good enough, or it's because, well, I'm only treating you this way because if you would do it this way, then I wouldn't have to say this to you. It's like a lot of people always finding excuses as to why they treat you badly. It's like it's like when you're around a bunch of people that cannot take accountability and you're like the only one, and it's like been put on you to always feel that way. And so when you start stopping that pattern, I feel like it's like a tightrope. Like you're walking a tightrope where you don't always want to internalize all the criticism anymore, but you also don't want to become someone that no longer takes accountability, right? So like, how do you navigate that? Because you don't want to be someone that's always blaming everyone else, but also it's not always your fault, you know? But I feel like that's just been an extensive part of your journey, is being around people that always make it your fault. Like everything that you do, every decision you make, every situation that happens, it's always your fault. And like, how do you navigate self-worth without internalizing that? So when you end up standing up and saying, no, it's not my fault. No, it's actually your fault. It's not no one's fault, but actually it's not my fault. And you need to look at yourself like, why is everybody always just looking at me? It's like, because you're putting up boundaries to that feeling. You're trying to put up boundaries with other people that have continuously told you everything is always your fault. And especially people that just don't take any accountability at all. That's the hardest thing, right? Because when you start putting up boundaries to those people, it makes it look like you're being ungrateful. You're ungrateful for the opportunities that they gave to you. And that's like, especially in things like business, right? If you start standing up to that boss and saying, look, you know what? I've been working here all these years. You never appreciated me. You never valued me. I've been bending over backwards to follow all of your rules. And, you know, I still don't feel like I'm getting any kind of, you know, accreditation for that. And then they say, you are so ungrateful for all the opportunities I gave you. You know, that's like, you know, how are you supposed to navigate that tightrope of feeling like as soon as you put up boundaries and speak on, you know, you don't deserve to be treated this way, then you are the ungrateful one for no longer wanting to be strung along and not valued and not respected and time wasted, right? You're so ungrateful. I mean, that can be something that you've heard a lot in your life, is how ungrateful you are. You're so ungrateful for, you know, especially narcissism, really. You are so ungrateful for everything I've done for you. And it's like, no, you're not. You're not ungrateful for what they've done for you. You're actually very grateful for everything that they've done. But you just cannot take the constant criticism anymore, or the constant, like, you need to change this about yourself, and you need to be this way, and this is not good enough. You know, it's like, no wonder you just kind of resort to just blocking people. You just block them out. You just end up cutting contact off. Because who the fuck wants to listen to that? If you weren't grateful for all the opportunities and everything that these people have done for you over the years, no matter who it is in your life, you wouldn't have stuck around for years wanting to just feel seen. Because you were grateful. You were extremely grateful. But you also want to feel like the person across from you is also grateful to have you around. And that's the missing piece. That's what's missing. That's what's missing, is gratefulness should go both ways. These are like people that want you to feel grateful for every crumb they throw at you. And if you start saying, you know what, actually, it's not enough. I want to feel like you're grateful as well to have me around. Oh, you're so ungrateful. No, I'm not. I just want to feel like you're also grateful. You know what I mean? It's like that. Again, stabbed in the back, deceived, shocking attack, because you're not receiving what you need. You're not progressing. You're not arriving. You're not moving forward. Okay? But why is stabbed in the back here again? Lovers. Yeah, it's like this could be a relationship, right? For some of you, it's also a relationship. It's like the relationship isn't moving forward. You're not receiving what you need. It's not going anywhere. You've been stabbed in the back, dealing with heartbreak and pain, and it's still not going anywhere. And you're not listening to your intuition. The High Priestess has come out in reverse 3 times. She hasn't come out upright once. It's just over and over again, not listening to your intuition about ungratefulness or unhappiness or not feeling good enough, or why is the High Priestess here in reverse so many times? This is like struggling with your self-worth, struggling with how you feel about yourself, feeling like you're not happy. The Devil. The Devil. The message about this is a message about the Queen of Wands. Or a message for the Queen of Wands. Maybe you're the Queen of Wands, all right? Something about not listening to intuition about jealousy. Is this jealousy? Is that what this is? Is this about jealousy? Passion, insane chemistry, like each other equally, having fun, passion. Passion? Clock, needing time, taking time. Taking so much time. Something about a long time, taking so much time. Passion. Taking so much time because of liking each other equally. What does that mean? Be lighthearted, finding out the things are coming to light. Things are coming to light now about so much time. Why it took so much time for things to come to light. Why did it take so much time for things to come to light? Why did you stay in a situation so long before adapting, changing, healing? Why did it take so much time for you to progress or want the same things, or maybe even put up boundaries? I mean, this really feels like you took a long time, maybe even in a relationship, you took a long time to finally put up boundaries, okay? Or draw a line in the sand of what you're no longer going to tolerate, of what you're no longer going to accept. And it came from a place of maybe for a long time, you operating out of this energy of not listening to your intuition, not listening to your intuition about the fact that it's not you. The way you're being treated has nothing to do with you not being good enough or not being worth it, or like you don't deserve more. All right? Why did it take you so long to draw a line in the sand in a relationship with someone? Because for a long time, you felt like you were the problem. You felt like if there's just, if I could just prove that I'm worth it, that I'm worth more to them, then it'll come. And there must be something here that's my fault, that they're not able to show up for me or give me more of what I'm asking for. It must be my fault somehow. I must deserve this and nothing more. It's like you have to and I feel like the devil is giving me, look, I gotta be honest. It's giving me jealousy. It's giving me jealousy. And jealousy in the sense that maybe you, at some point in your relationship, realize that there was someone else, maybe a third party, that had gotten more from someone. They had received more. They got more. All right, more of their time, more of their effort, more of their commitment. All right, they got more than you did. You got scraps, basically. But you were internalizing this. It wasn't jealousy. It's not like jealousy of the person. In your case, it's more of like just even more internalization that you must be the problem it must be your fault somehow that the person you're dating is able to give so much to someone else and not to you. You know? So if you didn't listen to your intuition for a very long time with the person that you were dating, it was because you were in a state of not knowing who you are, or not knowing what you deserve, or feeling like you're not good enough, not feeling good about yourself. Feeling like, well, if this person just sees that if they just see me for who I am. It's a feeling of, I don't feel seen. Like, I feel like you don't see me for who I am. Like, why can't they see me for who I am? I feel like, what can I do to deserve this then? Like, what can I do to deserve the commitment then? If I don't deserve it right now, then what can I do? How can I change? How can I change myself? How can I be more likable? How can I prove myself? What can I do to receive this person's affection? To want them to give that to me, because then I'm worth it. You know, it's like something like that. Okay. And this, and I'm just going to speak honestly. I'm just going to speak super honestly. With the devil here, it's like that ting of jealousy, when it's like, well, why were you able to give it to them and not me? Then I must be the problem. Then it must be me somehow. All right. And it's like you asking this person, like, then what is it about me? And they can't give you an answer, because it's actually not you. It's actually not you that's the problem. You get what I mean? But at that time in your life, you didn't listen to your intuition. And also, I feel like you just had a lot of work to do on yourself and how you feel about yourself. And not just that, it's like knowing what you deserve and knowing what you don't deserve, how you don't deserve to be treated. Right? And almost like, see, the thing is, like, this is like you expect the other person to tell you that you are worth something, instead of you believing that about yourself and being able to draw a line in the sand and say, I see now that you don't value me. I see now that you don't treat me how I deserve to be treated. And you drawing a line in the sand and putting up a boundary and saying, no, you weren't there yet. You just weren't there yet. You were still hoping for someone else to come to you and say, you know what? Now I see all along, you're amazing. I'm so grateful for you. I'm going to give you all this praise and commitment and, you know, all this blah, blah. It's a lesson that you have to learn. It's something that you have to grow into with time, right? And especially if this person also in a relationship was constantly criticizing you, or constantly comparing you, or constantly making you feel like, you know, someone else is better than you. It's like you might have still been in a state of mind where you then felt like a little kid again, like that inner child wound again of, well, maybe, you know, maybe if one day they'll see who I am, you know, it's like, but that was never what it was about. It was about actually growing out of that. Okay. And holding the other person accountable. Right. So tell me about temperance here. The Magician in reverse. And the Four of Swords. So there's something here about like all of your manifestations don't weren't able to work out. Like nothing that you really wanted in life was coming in for you at this time. All right. And I feel like it's because there was something that you had to contemplate first, or there was something that you had to think about first. You had to go within about first and kind of process why something wasn't really working out or manifesting for you. And it wasn't, and it was because you were sitting around waiting for someone else to have an epiphany and come to you and say, all right, so I've been thinking this whole time, and I feel like now I'm going to give you this commitment. I'm going to give you this raise. I'm going to give you this promotion. I'm going to give you this, right? You were waiting for the other person to kind of see it for themselves. The realization here is that, no, actually, I'm done waiting, and drawing a line in the sand and saying, you know what? You don't see it. You don't see me for who I am. You don't see my value. I'm not going to sit around and prove myself to you anymore. I feel like I've done it enough. All right. And I'm going to cut this off because you don't see my value anyways. Right? So in basic terms, the lesson here was not about getting the other person to see your worth. It was that you had to see your worth. And once you started to see your own worth, you realized who didn't. Right? You realized, actually, I do deserve to be treated this way. Actually, I do deserve to have this kind of a life. Actually, I do deserve to be acknowledged. All right? I do deserve to be praised. I do deserve a commitment. I do deserve all these things because I am a good person. All right? I don't have to bend myself, mold myself, change myself, submit myself in order to receive these things. I can just have it. I can have it because I just am. Because I just am. And if these people don't see it, I see it in myself now. And that's what I want. And I don't want to settle for less. And that's where you had to get to. That's where you had to get to. That point of saying, I'm not going to settle for less anymore because I am settling for less than what I actually deserve. Instead of settling for less the whole time while you're waiting for someone else to give you what you want. Right? It was like, no, you're not waiting for an external change. You had to make an internal change to see the change, if that makes sense, right? The Emperor and the Ace of Wands. This has to do with an Emperor taking some sort of action here, all right? Inspired action. Yeah, you're never gonna, the Eight of Pentacles at work. Something about a job, okay? It's like, it's harsh, but it's true. If you don't see your own worth, and you don't know what you deserve, and you don't know what you have to offer, and you're not willing to draw a line in the sand with that and put up boundaries with other people and tell them to their face, I want to be treated this way, I expect to be treated this way, and I'm not going to settle for less. If you have to get to the point of being able to do that, or else people will actually, they recognize in you that you're not able to put up boundaries, that you're someone that can be forced into submission. They recognize in you that you're someone that takes criticism to heart, and that you will do anything to accommodate them, and they will not respect you. They won't respect you. They won't value you. They won't respect you, because it's like, it really is that people see that you don't even know your own worth. So they can tell you whatever they want to tell you, and they know that you'll believe that about yourself. Right? Yeah. King of Wands in reverse. Why do I feel like this is a person in your life that was like this? was exactly like this, was somebody that told you all day long how you're not good enough and that you don't do this good enough and that, you're this way. And, recognize, this is someone that recognized in you, or this is how you feel right now. Queen of Wands in reverse, King of Wands in reverse. Maybe that's how you feel about yourself right now. All right. That feeling of disempowerment, feeling like you're being forced into submission. You don't feel like you can live and be your authentic self. You can't be who you truly are because you're internalizing so much criticism. And I feel like it has a lot to do with other people. They recognize this in you. They do. And the way that you get to your abundance and your independence and your life here is by realizing that some people are not good for you. They're not. They're not your friends. They're not your boss. Well, they are technically your boss, but they're not a good boss. You know what I mean? They're not your friends. They're not your colleagues. They're not your lovers. They're not your, close family. They're not your soul tribe. They're not people that uplift you or want to see you do well. They're people that recognize in you that you are insecure and that you want to feel helpful or accommodating, or you don't want to rock the boat. You want to be a people pleaser. You want to make a good impression. And those things are all okay. But, for whoever you are, it's to your own detriment. Because every single time someone tells you like this isn't good enough and that's wrong and this wrong, you internalize the criticism as if it is really your fault. When it's not. You just don't know, or if this is past tense, you just never learned how to know that you don't have to just take the mistreatment and take the constant criticism. Standing up does it make you a better person not to have boundaries with people, right? Okay, closing words. I feel like I just want one more and then I'll close it out here. The Page of Cups. This has a lot to do with people seeing you like a child, like you're naive, like you're young, or this is inner child. This is you. This is your inner child. This is your inner child going, I just want to be liked. I just want people to think I'm nice. I just want people to think I'm doing a good job. I just want people to think that, I'm helpful and I'm giving and I'm a good little soldier, basically. I just want to hear that I'm doing a good job. I just want to hear that they appreciate me. I just want to hear that I'm a good part of the team, And I feel like the problem is that you're like barking up the wrong tree. Because you're asking this of people who recognize this in you, and that's why they're not doing it on purpose. Because it's like they see in you that you are willing to bend over backwards for them, and that you don't stand up for yourself, and you don't have boundaries, right? It's kind of a difficult one. So I'm going to leave it here. I hope this helps, guys. I know this was a long one. Yeah, if you've made it this far, there's something wonky going on with the YouTube algorithm. All right, I'll be honest. If you've made it this far to the end of the video, I'd really appreciate if you like. If you haven't subscribed yet, maybe a subscribe, guys. All right. There's also a feature on YouTube called Hype. You can hype me as well if you'd like to, all right? I'm trying to get the swing back on, all right? Because there's something weird going on here. So thank you again. I appreciate you. And until next time, guys, bye.